It's Weather Impact Live. Of course, we're always keeping you posted what's happening out here on the first coast across the country and the world with a kind of a little rendition of Weather Watchers Worldwide here today because we're going to be talking about the tropics. Yeah, here in the month of May, we have an active storm system out there in the Pacific Ocean, but near where we actually had the last one a couple weeks ago. We're tracking Sinlaku was impacting Guam, part of the United States. In fact, our first landfalling tropical system in the United States was about 2 weeks ago on the island of Tinian, believe it or not. But also, we're going to be talking about some severe thunderstorms that we've been seeing across the southeast. That's including our weekend weather outlook here across the first coast. So that's really what's coming up here with our main points on our graphics. But yeah, so let's talk about, first off, leading into tracking the tropics, or as we like to fondly say here, talking tropics on First Coast News. And yeah, let's start off with this. Look at this. It's a tropical storm. It is Hagupit. Now I'm going to zoom back the picture, give you an idea of where this is. So if we go over here, there's the United States, there's Jacksonville, and we go across past Hawaii. It's out here, okay? It's on the other side of the world from the First Coast, but about 12,000 people live here on the island of Yap. And did you know, as a United States citizen, that island there, right there, that's Yap, and then that's Palau. Actually, they're sort of part of the United States, and I say sort of. They have this common agreement, but you don't need a visa, you don't need a passport or anything if you want to just move there and live on these islands. It's actually kind of interesting. But anyways, they are dealing with tropical storm strength conditions today, just because of the storm system. Right now, it has winds of 40 miles per hour, so a low-end tropical storm moving towards the west at about 9 miles per hour. Plenty of rainfall with it. I mean, they're going to be looking at possibly tropical storm strength conditions, especially on Yap, but not, typhoon or hurricane equivalent. We're not looking at the damage we saw out here in the Mariana Islands, which, by the way, Guam and Saipan. Remember 2 weeks ago, these islands they still have power outages in a lot of the spots out here. They were absolutely destroyed by that Cat 5 typhoon Sinlaku. It was a Cat 5 about 2 weeks ago. That's these islands back here towards the north. There's Yap, and that is Palau. And, of course, over here towards the west is the Philippines. So it gives you an idea. Just, this area has been so active. This is actually the Hagupit being the third named storm of 2026 already out here in this corner of the world. Kind of interesting. So that area in blue, that is a tropical storm warning, yes, issued by the National Weather Service. The United States National Weather Service issues tropical warnings for these islands out here. So that area in blue being fed into our system as a ongoing active tropical storm warning here on Hagupit. Moving towards the west at only 9 miles per hour. But as mentioned, it is a relatively weak storm. Just people out here need to be hunkered down throughout their day on Friday night, heading in through the day on Saturday, before it starts to improve by Sunday. And the good news with this storm, it is hitting a lot of dry air and weakening out as it moves off here towards the west and moving into the Philippine Sea just towards the east of the Philippines, becoming basically a remnant low and just absolutely falling apart here off the east coast of Luzon and Samar in late day there. So, yeah, good news. It is going to weaken out, and not really a big wind field on this right now. Let's actually rewind this. So you can see that little island of Yap right there. They got tropical storm conditions here on your Friday evening, but it's not a big wind field, very, very small. And then we watch this move towards the west. The wind field expands a little and then falls off. And that is because of that dry air and the increased shear that we're going to see on this storm system. And you even see that here. This is a broader view of what we got going on. And one key thing is this is interacting with the subtropical ridge towards the north. So we got this big old high pressure area basically towards the north. It's increasing that wind gradient, but all this dry air and vertical wind shear, the same ingredients that disrupt storms in the Atlantic, it happens out here too, is really just going to kind of weaken the storm system out. And you can just watch as the wind field falls apart here as we go ahead through Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. So just one more loop through. Yap kind of taking taking the worst of it. You see they're right in the right front quadrant there. That's just north of the eye, that little island there. They're getting the tropical storm strength conditions today. This drifts off towards the west, runs into that drier air really throughout the mid to upper levels, just causing this to absolutely get disrupted and completely fall apart here. So some good news for our friends out there in the Philippines as this kind of moves off into their direction. But if you have any questions on this storm system, I am checking our social media pages. I would like to hear back from you. Let's continue to talk about that, but also talk about the broader scope of things. So, of course, right now, tropical storm warnings are in place, and hopefully everybody is hunkered down. Today and this week in general is Hurricane Preparedness Week in the U.S., so this theme is right on point from yesterday. Stay protected during the storm if you are under any tropical storm warnings or hurricane warnings or anything like that. Make sure you're staying inside. Have a way to continue to get weather alerts, and I'm sure a lot of people out here have those backup powers. Maybe they have solar as well, because during the storm you're going to want to, still have a way to get the alerts, tropical storm warnings, maybe evacuations in your area. But also even after the storm, you're going to want to have the ways to kind of keep things powered up, especially, in Florida or even there in Yap. We're talking about the deep tropics. Afterwards, if you don't have AC, maybe you're somebody who's older, a little bit more vulnerable to that. This is something that people often think about, or don't often think about, but it's becoming more and more of a problem in recent years. And one of the main reasons is because a lot of people are well aware of the hazards of a tropical system. The education really has gone out there, and most people understand storm surge, damaging winds, understand that, if you go outside during a storm, debris could fly around. That's one of the big things. They don't think about after the fact that, there could be down power lines, floodwaters, things like generators. You're not operating them properly. Also, limited phone service. These are all factors that you have to think about. And hopefully they're in Yap, where we're just talking about this tropical system. They don't have to deal with recovery for a long period of time. But I do know further towards the north, across the Mariana Islands, they still have power outages back there towards the north from the last tropical system, Sinlaku. So these are all things you just want to think about whenever you are under threat of a tropical storm. So Hurricane Preparedness Week still ongoing, and I just wanted to keep you guys informed on what's happening out there on the other side of the world. But also, let's talk about what's happening in the Atlantic, because we still have 24 days until the start of a hurricane season. Yeah, that's June 1st. And, we sometimes see storms even here in the month of May. And you might be thinking, really? Yeah. Actually, your memory must be really short if you're questioning it, because if we go back, let's start last year, June 23rd. Okay, we didn't have any named storms in May. Neither did we in 2024. 23, we had one on June 1st, but let's go to 21. We had one in May. 2020, we had one in May. We actually had two in May in 2020. 2019, we had one. 2018, we had one. 2016's a oddball out. I don't know what went on there. January, I have to double check. We did have a subtropical little what in the world's happening storm system in 2016 in January. But the point is, they do happen often, more often than you think in May. In fact, 32 named storm systems since records began back in 1851. And here's just a look at a lot of them. If you might notice one little thing here, though, this is typically a lot of the clusters for these storms is off of the East Coast. In fact, the one there from 2016, which was on this date back on May 8th, 2016, or 2015, I should say, came on shore in the Carolinas. The thing is, the storms tend to form in that area because of this. They form along stationary boundaries, which is what we kind of have across the first coast today. Is this time of year with the stationary boundary setting up, if there's a lack of shear, maybe the conditions are right, storms tend to run up that stationary boundary and go subtropical, usually subtropical, so they kind of have a hybrid mix of tropical and extratropical, and they develop, and that's why in that specific area you kind of see the higher cluster of tropical system development. Kind of a little fun fact, a little interesting. I don't see anything out there right now, okay? just keep that in mind. 2020, as I mentioned, we had 2 named storm systems, and in 2016 and in 2012, only 6 times in history did we have that 2 named storms before June 1st. So it's kind of interesting, a little extra tidbit on top of it. 3 prior to June 1st, just once. You have to go back to 1951. But yeah, tropics, man. It's interesting stuff. Now, we look at this broader picture, and I do have more to talk about here in the Western Pacific. I want to show you a fun little video, and before we switch over to what's happening in the Southwest. There it is. I got to take down the sound. And this is a dust devil out of Car, the Philippines here. And they're having a riot. This is my favorite type of storm chasing right here. Dust devils do form up whenever you have these hot thermals over dark surfaces, just like you see right there. And they're basically these thermals that pop up. You can it can knock over some light stuff. You've seen like a little garbage kind of flying into the wind there. These guys look like they're on what they call a trike out there in the Philippines doing storm chasing. It is amusing. I absolutely love this video. It makes me kind of laugh a little bit. No injuries, obviously, coming out of that. We're going to talk about the cousin of that dust devil, though, and the more important big-time storm systems across the southeast coming up here in just a few minutes. Right now, let's go take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
That is the Protector.
This truck is a beast.
It's got all the tools on it. I love how big the tires are. And this is going to be able to show you the weather around the First Coast like you've never seen it before.
The Protector really is going to help protect the community.
So you can see what it looks like on the ground. And that allows folks to really take action and do something about it.
And it gives us that edge in continuing to be the most accurate weather team.
Sponsored by HananiaAutos.com.
I'm Keitha Nelson. Good morning, Jacksonville anchor and mom of twins, Journey and Trey. I'm on your side, getting you out the door and off to a great start. Make the move to Good Morning Jacksonville on First Coast News. Weekdays from 4:30 to 9, anywhere you watch.
First Coast Living Live.
Bringing you closer to the tastiest food.
The best shopping.
And family fun.
Woo!
Jordan Wilkerson and David Benfield. First Coast Living Live. Weekdays at 11 a.m. only on NBC 12.
We have new details about a heavy police presence in Jacksonville Beach.
Driver fired gunshots along the interstate today, prompting a police chase.
Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
The First Coast News weather team is here to deliver your most accurate forecast with weather impact alerts to warn you about severe weather and up-to-the-minute information on First Coast News Plus.
The wave of moisture rolls its way on in here.
Our team is the most equipped and experienced to help you prepare and keep you safe.
The First Coast News weather team is always on your side. Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
My mission is to help you get to where you're going safely. Whether it's helping you beat the backup on 95 or navigating the slowdown on JTB, we've got you covered. Make the move to Good Morning Jacksonville on First Coast News. Weekdays live from 4:30 to 9, anywhere you watch.
All right, let's switch gears and let's talk about what's happening here in the United States across the southeast U.S. where, it's talking about tropical season and that's coming up soon enough, but we are still in severe weather season. And here on Wednesday, we actually had multiple tornadoes reported across the deep south. Still severe weather even yesterday. They're over towards the Panhandle. And I'll show you some video out of Mississippi because some pretty serious damage there. 17 people still injured from this. Hundreds of homes, 400 from what I've latest seen, homes damaged. A lot of these mobile homes right in here. One of these went right over a mobile home park. And just my goodness, serious damage. Some pretty incredible stories of people kind of hiding, under like furniture, mattresses, just doing the best they could. This is one of those things, though, after the fact, you got a lot of down tree limbs, a lot of down power lines. Same thing as hurricane season, being smart about it. In fact, let's go over to some aerial footage. We have some drone footage kind of to match up with this from the same area here for one of these 2 EF3 tornadoes, by the way, reported in this severe weather outbreak. And those analyses are taken after the fact. EF3, one of the main points, is just basically like walls twisted, the total all the way down to the base of a home, and you can kind of see that in a few of the spots here, even with these aerial images. Aerial drone really changed the game too on showing where the tornado's path is. I mean, I've done that where I've flown a drone directly over the damage path of a tornado like the day after one of them took place, and it really just gives you a good idea of just how narrow this can be, but how serious within the path of a tornado can be, just from an aerial perspective. Something we did not have 20, 30 years ago, just in the recent development of drone technology, able to kind of show this. Of course, helicopters are out there, but it took a lot of money to do that. So this is really good image that was sent in to our affiliates out there, and they're still good images in the sense that it shows us the scope of the damage there. Ballpark absolutely destroyed. You can see off to the side there all these down trees. But I really hope no fatalities in this this storm. That's good, but like I said, 17 injuries. And really hope that they get some quick recovery for our friends across the Deep South. But let's switch up and let's talk about, what's going on in the forecast. Now, of course, we're talking about what's happening over there. But in more of the near term, kind of smoky, kind of hazy here in Jacksonville. As we drill down towards the First Coast, we've been seeing hazy conditions since yesterday. And what's been happening is not the local fires, not the Brantley County fire or any of these ones out here that we've been talking about, even in the Clay County, but this fire over here, the Lafayette County fire. Yesterday, this was blowing strong southwesterly winds right over Jacksonville, and it continued overnight and into this morning, creating just this hazy conditions, poor air quality. Thing is, as we go ahead through our day here on Friday, the winds are shifting in from the northeast. Saturday could pop up from the southwest again, but you see how they kind of swing back and forth. But overall, that is improving some of the air quality. We also have an increase in humidity over the First Coast for the most part. I do want to point out, though, you see towards the south, we got a lot of sunshine out here. Cloud cover over the First Coast, much cooler temperatures back here towards the north. But see all this cloud or all this sunshine? It's actually bad news because I do believe there's going to be just enough instability south of this front that we're going to actually see some afternoon showers, maybe a few stronger thunderstorms kind of pop up here today. And you can see where the temperature differences are from Gainesville over towards Palatka. You're into the 80s compared to Jacksonville, which is struggling to get out of the 70s as we go ahead through this morning into the afternoon. So 84 degrees, warm and muggy day on tap, but some isolated storms are going to be possible towards the south of Jacksonville, closer to the I-4 corridor. You would see that here on our hour-by-hour futurecast as we go ahead. And let's rewind this a little bit. Wonder why this starts at Saturday. That's interesting. All right, let me see if I have another futurecast. Somebody must have edited this graphic right before it came on. Let's see if this one goes for today. Here we go. That's a lot better. You kind of see the heavier storms just towards our south. Watch as they pop off as we go ahead through Friday afternoon, heading into the evening. Basically, Jacksonville south, that's where you're going to be seeing the higher chance of some of these storms today. And even a few of these could become strong. So you want to watch out for that. Some local heavy rainfall. But the good news is that we do have multiple wildfires still burning in Marion County. The railroad fire, that could need to take a good dump of rainfall out there along the Clay County and Putnam County line. And then eventually it pushes off towards the east because we are very, very much still under an ongoing drought. In fact, the latest update came in yesterday, and you can just see where exceptional drought still dominating a good portion of the First Coast. So any rain is going to absolutely be a very welcome sight. Let's go back to the futurecast, though. kind of see what I was talking about here as we go ahead through Saturday and into Sunday. So Saturday afternoon, we're going to see an increase in showers as well. This front's just kind of lingering overhead, not going anywhere very fast. So expecting showers through the day on Saturday. And then even again on Sunday afternoon, we're going to be looking at more showers and some thunderstorms, especially towards the north of Jacksonville. And this does include around in the morning. Kind of see maybe some nocturnal stuff's going to be developing, and that means maybe for Sunday brunch with mom, you could be looking at some precipitation. So that's why we actually have a weather impact alert in place for both Saturday and Sunday here on the First Coast. You got some beneficial rainfall, but it could interrupt maybe some of your plans outside. And it's just a broader look at this stationary front as we go ahead through the day here on Friday. It kicks off some storms towards the south, but we get another surge of moisture coming in from the west, and this is what we call a lazy front. What I mean by that, it doesn't go very fast, doesn't develop anything. Like there's not a lot of forcing with it, but you combine with the front and the instability aloft, you get the daytime heating, so that allows temperatures, the warmth, to get some of that thermal heating and convective nature out of it, and it helps fire up some thunderstorms along this line. And it's basically every time we get a little short wave that pushes on through, it's going to fire up some storms. On Monday, we actually do get a cold front that's going to kick on by. That should start to clear things out, but Monday could be another day of some showers and a thunderstorm. So we take a look at our weekend outlook here, both Saturday and Sunday, 85 up to 87 degrees. Spotty showers in the morning on Sunday, but even some late day afternoon storms are possible too. Thus, we have that weather impact alert. Now, good news for both days and really all week and in the early part of next week is that the fire danger does back off just a little bit. Yesterday we were at critical levels, especially in Jackson. We had dry air, red flag warnings in place, a southerly wind, an increase in cloud cover, an increase in precipitation is obviously going to help out. Right now, no warnings are in place as far as fire weather. It's humid, it's cloudy, but this does give you a look at where we do have active fires still ongoing today here across the First Coast. Brantley County, that Clinch County, we still got a couple out there in Nassau County, a little bit smaller, and I'm down towards Putnam. So what I mean by that is, this is definitely welcomed, and I'm sorry that it does interrupt your weekend plans. It is unfortunate. Just like last weekend, we had an increase in rainfall at the Shrimp Festival, but you kind of have to take the good with the bad, and we absolutely need this rainfall out here. So Saturday and Sunday, weather impact alert days for your Mother's Day. That means you could be looking at probably some scattered showers around brunch time, and then even another round heading into the afternoon with another round of precipitation on Monday with that passing front before that front moves on by and actually clears things out and cools things off a little bit. Here as we go ahead into your Tuesday over towards Wednesday, we start to rebound back up to 86 and 88 degrees. So some ups and downs here in your extended forecast as well. So yeah, some nicer weather, I guess, to look forward to with our 7-day outlook. All right, so that's what we got going on out here right now. If you guys could shout at my ear about how much time we have left here in this broadcast. We can maybe jump back out over to that tropical system real quick and just talk about it. Because I do see some people watching from that area. But we got, about 4 or 5 more minutes? Okay, about 5 more minutes. Well, in that scenario, we'll go jump back to that. But first, let's take a quick break real quick. Then we'll come back, give you a little recap on that tropical system I'm watching on the other side of the world. And then we'll wrap up this Weather Impact live stream.
We have new details about a heavy police presence in Jacksonville Beach.
Driver fired gunshots along the interstate today, prompting a police chase.
Breaking overnight, police are investigating an officer-involved shooting.
Breaking news, a major crash on I-95.
Routine controlled burn got out of control. First Coast News was the only station there.
Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with First Coast News and First Coast News Plus, coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage with First Coast News and First Coast News Plus. The First Coast News Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Have the umbrella in the back seat, the rain jacket ready to go.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
Let's get some breaking news we've been following overnight.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. First Coast News Plus, complete coverage of your local news, weather, and more.
The First Coast News weather team has your most accurate forecast with weather impact alerts to warn you about severe weather. Our team is here to help you prepare and keep you safe.
The First Coast News weather team is always on your side. Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.
Hey, so let's check in on that tropical system. I know we've kind of put it in the push notification. We're going to talk about the tropics out there because it is May 8th. We're getting into that season, and other parts of the world already picked it up. This is actually the third named storm system in the Western Pacific. It's Tropical Storm Hagibit, and I point this out because it is moving towards a small island here that the National Weather Service actually forecast for. It's not technically part of the United States, but it kind of is. It's a Commonwealth, I think that's what it's called, and that is Yap, located here just towards the west of the storm, where tropical storm warnings are in place at this time. About 12,000 people live on that island. You can see that area in blue. That's tropical storm warning from the National Weather Service, as it's expected to pass right overhead here on our Friday and a Saturday. If you watch these updates, you know that just 2 weeks ago, here on Weather Impact Live, we were actually tracking a super typhoon, a Cat 5, that passed over Tinian and Saipan, located up here in Guam. They still got power outages from that storm system. And here we go again, another tropical system further towards the south. Now, the good thing you notice that the further west this goes, the more it encounters dry air and kind of weakens out quite significantly. So it's not going to be impacting like the Philippines, where instead of 12,000 people, we'll be talking about millions being impacted by a early season tropical storm. And you even see here the official forecast from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, which is the agency who kind of warns on these from the United States out in the Western Pacific. And that's kind of the equivalent of the NHC for the National Weather Service there. Kind of shows it weakening out. And a lot of the guidance also shows that it's just dry air, vertical wind shear, all of that stuff that you think, okay, all right, yeah, maybe in the Atlantic it would break apart a storm system. So, yeah, going to keep an eye on that. But remember, that is on the other side of the world. If you're talking about the Atlantic Ocean, we do have hurricane season starting in just a few weeks, but on average, kind of interesting, it's late May when we typically see our first named storm system, and even if you go back to 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, we had May storms, believe it or not, for 4 years in a row. That's pretty wild, isn't it, when you think about it? This year, we don't have anything like that. But starting in just a few days, we are going to get the first advisories from the NHC on May 15th. This year, we're expecting below average number of named storm systems, by the way, in the Atlantic Ocean. So having a later start to the season would kind of be on trend with an El Nino. But I just point this out because I thought it was interesting. Back in 2015, May 8th, we had a named storm. So yeah, that's just looking all the way back 150 years at all the storm systems may have formed, 32 of them in this month. And they typically form up along these stationary boundaries, just like we're kind of seeing out there today, increasing that chance of rainfall across the southeast. Now, I'm not saying a tropical system's forming along that boundary. I'm just saying that general weather pattern is in place there. Lots going on, kind of all over the place here with our Weather Impact Live today, but that's the fun of weather watchers worldwide, right? I hope you're enjoying your Friday out there. Stay dry this weekend. Happy Mother's Day, and we'll be back here, of course, streaming again at 4:30 and at 5, 6, 7, and 11 as well, keeping you informed of what's happening here on the First Coast. Have a good day.